we have Intensel, an AI-powered climate risk analytics firm presenting their solution for information collection on climate risks. That sounds really exciting. Let's put Intensel on the line.
So thank you very much. Thank you, MAS. Thank you, KPMG, for organizing this wonderful event. And it's my pleasure to showcase Intensel. Intensel is a deep tech company for analyzing financial risk related to climate change. So our belief is climate risk is no longer a tail risk. Climate risk is new, systematic, and on price. Climate-related losses are reaching $300 billion per year, and they are expected to increase by 3 times in less than 10 years. So that's the main reason why regulators are asking for mandatory disclosure on climate risk. The problem is that climate is a difficult science. It is complex, incomprehensible, and run as a consultancy base. So we have a very simple solution to that. We use AI, big data, supercomputers to model and analyze Earth's climate. We then map climate risk into a dollar loss using robust financial modeling. Now that's a language the market understands and the product they're ready to adopt. And our market traction is a testimony of that. In less than a year, we have developed a deep product and we have more than 25 client traction, data shared with 3 companies, 2 of them very well established in the energy sector, and currently generating revenues, working with 2 asset managers, 1 real estate, 1 big consulting company, and 1 London headquartered bank. But this is just the beginning of a snowball demand because it affects across sectors, from real estate to asset owners to insurance to energy companies. It's a $43 trillion market. And to that, we offer a simple cloud-based SaaS product, which is comprehensive in dollar value and 1,000 times faster than other solutions. Our clients can come online, upload their locations, or just a file, CSV file, and within seconds, they are able to get the climate risk, present and future, of something which takes normally months to deliver. They can analyze a portfolio along climate variables such as flood, drought, storm surge, river flood, rain flood, but also along different assets. And on top of that, they can get a dollar value which is associated with damage on the property, as well as dollar value related to business interruption. Now, how do we do that? We combine terabytes of climate variables with socioeconomic variables such as GDP, population, urbanization, digital elevation models, as well as asset-specific data such as building footprint, valuation, etc. We allow the client to come on board and play around with the product. It is interactive. They can change the basement, they can change the valuation, and get a loss which is projected across different climate scenarios. So a simple, real-time, and comprehensive product. And because this is comprehensive, they can use this product across multiple sectors. And that's not just for policy and regulatory disclosure on climate risk, but also to mitigate losses related to climate change, as well as capture opportunities. For example, a real estate client is using the product to avoid investing in areas of high flood risk in Jakarta. At the same time, they are planning better cooling efficiency for their building in Shanghai in order to mitigate a $500,000 loss per year for 1 building in Shanghai because of extreme temperatures, meaning 3 degrees higher during summer times. The energy companies, they are planning to increase by 15% the return on investment because of better ability to capture winds for next 5 to 10 years ahead, as well as monsoon and typhoons affecting their wind farms. So, comprehensive product, but with very deep technology and at the same time real-time, user-friendly, and cost-efficient. And it allows us to capture the market not just in Asia, but beyond. This is not just a software write-up. This is more than decades of R&D on climate risk, which is my background, climate modeling, the CTO, as well as ESG and climate risk from CEO. Behind our company, there are world-leading advisors with more than 400 papers on climate science and climate modeling. Ladies and gentlemen, climate risk is a massive risk, and we need tools to adjust, mitigate, and fight climate change. And Intensel has the right expertise, is in the right time in the right market to offer this solution to 92 out of 97 industries in a very simple, accessible, and easy to use technology. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Intensel, for the wonderful pitch. And now we head to a 5-minute Q&A with the judges. Intensel, are you ready?
Yep.
Okay, first question comes from Winnie. Over to you, Winnie.
Hi, thank you. This is truly an area that I think a lot of banks, a lot of companies are looking at. But I think some of the challenges that we have is how do we have a big enough or long enough of data set that across times, and there's also specific to a project size or specific to a geography. And also how does that sort of tie into like either short-term or long-term decisioning? Can you tell us a little bit more about how Intensel sort of like looks at these issues and be able to solve for it? Thank you.
So if I understood right, because there's a bit of, it's about how we address the location and the data behind specific.
The issue is about not having enough data set or data set across a long enough period of time for specific project sites. Yes. So how do you address issues like that? These are the questions that a lot of the providers are struggling with.
Absolutely, absolutely. So thank you for the question. It's actually a very good question. So I have been more than 13 years, since 2008, do ESG invest in, I have a finance background, but ESG invest in consultancy in Asia. And Asia, one of the biggest problems when we are looking at climate risk for financial application is lack of data or lack of collecting observed data on climate risk as well as the damage related to climate risk. So the way we solve this problem is because our existing technology, which means we use, of course, a satellite data, primary data, multiple resources from NASA, from NOAA research, academic paper publication. And what we do in countries like, for example, China, when there is not collected rainfall data or not made publicly available, we use our models. You use AI model, or sometimes we use MWP, which is not numerical weather prediction models, to downscale this data from global model to regional model to go very granular while keeping the physics equation in place. So we generate missing historical data, and on top of that, then we're able to project going forward what the scenarios will be if there is no available climate data scenarios in the market.
Thank you for that. Winnie, I hope that answers your question. And our next question comes from Victor. Your question, Victor.
Hi, Intensel. Thanks for the lovely presentation. Good to see you again. Very quick question. First, given the fact that a lot of the data that you guys are using is relatively public, what would you say is your competitive advantage? And then second, on the back of that, how do you see your business model evolving over the next couple of years?
So very good. Thank you, Vic, for the question. So the data are, the primary data are public, but the secondary data, which I mean data which come from public, from academic publication or for research studies, these are not easy to use data because they come in different shape files and you have to combine. For example, if you want to do landslide, it's a combination of rainfall data and terrain data. And then even if you to project rainfall, you have to combine temperature and air. So some of the data are not available and you need to model them or storm search. We don't just aggregate data, we also use our internal modeling capability to enhance the data and generate data as well as do prediction. So you have depth in terms of technology for that, in terms of how we analyze the data. And how do we see ourselves going forward? So it builds on that. So we don't just offer overall climate risk. We also do prediction very specific on wind predictions from days to weeks to 5 years, 10 years, to also do very in-detailed flood analysis for building scenarios. So we want to establish ourselves not just as a climate risk provider overall, but also climate risk in-depth analytics for a single location based on that. And on top of that, we have Asia expertise, which other providers which tap into the Asia market that don't have. So 15 years of Asia climate modeling and climate expertise.
All right, thank you for that. We have less than 50 seconds left. A really quick question from Tommy.
Hi, Intensel. Quickly on your go-to-market, how are you thinking about approaching this? Are you selling directly to your clients? Do you have to work with consultancies, or do you have to build your own consultancy capabilities?
Really quickly, please.
So it's a very good question. So we're not building consultancy. We run a SaaS product, which is highly scalable on that. Our go-to-market is using first my warm professional network of 17 years in Hong Kong doing exactly ESG and climate risk investing. The first one, and we are working with a big international institution. The second one, we are being approached from them once they know that we are doing something. Actually, the latest client they are the one coming to us for this product because it's a massive need for that. The third is a lot of using speaking events, articles, publications.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Hello, Intensel. Unfortunately, 5 minutes is up, but thank you for that. Tommy, I really hope your question was answered at least partially. Thank you once again to Intensel, and a big thank you to all our judges for the questions.